we are going to be talking about career readiness, particularly how to make the most of your experience at Algonquin College. So my name is Jessica Andrews. I am an employment officer at the Employment Support Center, where we provide one-on-one meetings, various areas of support, events, workshops, and virtual tools to help you become career ready. And I'm joined today by my colleague, Rebecca Sun. You want to introduce yourself, Rebecca?
Sure, thanks, Jessica. So my name is Rebecca, and I'm a co-op student advisor with Cooperative Education. And at Algonquin College, we have over 40 academic programs with a co-op component. So if you are in a co-op program, I highly encourage you to start developing your resume as well as your soft skills, and this workshop will really help you get started. It does make a difference for when you're applying for jobs and also when you're networking with future employers.
So for today's workshop, we're going to be talking about a few different things. We're hopefully going to give you the opportunity to learn a little bit more about the services that are available at Algonquin College and various resources that can help you on your career development. We're also going to explore some benefits of getting involved. So why should you take advantage of all these things and how they're going to help you actually become very career ready before you even end up finishing your program. And then we're also going to spend some time starting to think about those strengths that we already have, the skills, the experience that we have that are actually going to help us along our career. And then I already mentioned housekeeping, but please feel free to turn on your videos and ask us questions in the chat box.
So here at Algonquin College, you're going to see that there will be lots of new and exciting opportunities available to you as a student. And we do encourage you to be an active participant in your academic and your social journey. So this image here for us really kind of summarizes how day-to-day life at Algonquin can go very quickly if you are not staying in the loop. So I do encourage you to check your student email regularly, a few times a day. Try something new, do something that you've never done before, like attend a workshop, join a student club, or even run for student government. This is the time to be fearless and try something that is outside of your comfort zone.
So on the slide, we've listed some of the amazing services that you might not be aware have components to them that can help you with your career. So I will start with the Employment Support Center. As I mentioned, I work there as an employment officer. And so we do offer one-on-one appointments and workshops related to resume and cover letters. So if you're looking for a part-time job, if you're trying to start creating documents related to your career, we can help you tailor those documents to specific positions or to specific industries to help your application stand out. We also help with interviews, so practicing mock interviews together, going over questions that you might come up with in an interview. We also talk about job strategies, so coming up with different ways to find opportunities online, as well as ways to network and find opportunities that might be not necessarily posted online and accessed through the hidden job market. We also talk about LinkedIn, so both how to create a really great profile and then also how to use it effectively. And finally, we talk about labor market information. So what are the trends? What are the outlooks for your specific industry? We also host a number of networking events throughout the year, employer sessions. So employers that are currently recruiting, you'll have the opportunities to meet with them and build up your contacts. And then finally, we have a number of digital resources. Hire AC, which I think Rebecca will mention as well, is the Algonquin College platform where you can find opportunities, part-time, co-op, full-time, summer positions, and employers will post there specifically for our Algonquin student and graduates. So if you're looking for a job, that's the first place that I would check out. We also have a tool called Interview Stream. This is my favorite tool we have, but it's essentially a online video tool where you can record yourself answering interview questions. So I think there's over 7,000 interview questions you can choose from. And then you can actually assess how you deliver your answers. What does your body language look like? How many times do you say words like and like? So it's a really great tool that you can use. And then AC career platform has a ton of content, videos, modules related to resumes, job search, and interviews. So if you can't access us in an appointment, you can access that online at any time. The next one I want to highlight is the library. So through the library, you can access a number of resources, but those very specific to career development might be learning how to create a digital portfolio, brushing up on your research skills, maybe brushing up on some of your other skills related to soft skills. So maybe improving your communication, your presentation skills. So they do offer a number of workshops, all of these topics, as well as a number of resources online. And if you wanted one-on-one coaching or peer tutoring, they also offer these services as well. The third one is counseling services. So counseling provides services directly related to career counseling. So if you need assistance exploring different careers that go with your program, career planning, they also do career assessments or personality assessments. But anything to help you sort of chart a path from your program to your career, you have access to counselors for that particular reason. And they also host a number of workshops, professional development related, that can help you along your career journey.
I'm going to go through the bottom half of the slide. So for those of you who are taking part in AC Day 1 and Campus Village type activities like today, the AC Hub is a great resource to get to know on campus. They put on a lot of workshops, events, and volunteering opportunities. And they do have a student leadership program. I believe it's currently on hold due to the pandemic, but it's a very vibrant department within the college. They also have a co-curricular record, which allows you to track and record all of your non-academic unpaid experience as a student. So things like attending workshops, participating in intramural activities, participating as a volunteer for AC Day 1 and other types of opportunities. So it's a great resource. I highly encourage you to check it out. And they do put on a lot of great workshops and events throughout the year. So make sure that you follow them on Facebook, on Twitter, and check out the Student Services website as well, which covers quite a few of the services that we're talking about today. Cooperative education is my department. As mentioned before, we have about 40 programs that have a co-op component. And you will be, once you're in cooperative education, you are assigned a co-op student advisor, and they will help lead you through the various stages of your preparation term, your job search term, as well as your work term, and getting you job ready. So this is an academic experience. It is competitive. And the fact that you are sitting here today, if you have a co-op component in your program, I really applaud you because you're taking the right steps in the right direction. As Jessica mentioned, there are quite a few workshops available to students from various departments, and co-op is not excluded from that. So when you are in cooperative education, we do have exclusive cover letter and resume development workshops. We offer mock interviews and job and interview skills workshops as well. We do have an exclusive co-op job board as well, and it's offered through Hire AC. Once you're in co-op and you've completed the prep term, you will gain access to this exclusive job board, and you will be able to start applying for co-op jobs. We also offer exclusive employer recruitment as well as networking events specific to co-op. And these are just some of the perks if you are choosing a cooperative education component in your academic program. Another great department to visit and to learn more about is the Students Association. They offer opportunities to join student clubs, student government, as well as networking opportunities. You can join an existing club, or if you have yourself and 9 other friends, you can actually start a student club and get funding for different types of activities, professional development, and it also looks really great on a resume if you are the vice president or president of a student club. It shows initiative, it shows that you have interests outside of your program as well. I have a point for student government. So if you are interested in becoming a class representative, you can talk to your program coordinator and see what the next steps are. You can represent your class at various program councils as well. Once we're back on campus, you can also join intramurals and varsity sports. They also have a new complex, a new athletics facility that is being built on campus. So if you're on campus for class, or if you're just walking by, feel free to check that out. It looks amazing.
So those are some of the key services that are available to you. But it's also really important to take advantage of any kind of experiential learning that occurs in your program. So in terms of like field-based experiences, if your program has any sort of work integrated learning, so that could be a co-op placement. It could also mean just a regular placement. It could be applied research. It could be times when you go out in the community to do research. It could be field trips in your class, conferences, global projects. So if there's courses that are available where you can go internationally, or on working on different projects in the community. All of these things are so important to helping you move forward in your career. A lot of times students will they'll struggle to find work after they finish their career or after they finish their program, because so many positions will say, oh, we need 1 to 3 years of experience. And they're like, well, I have no experience yet. Please hire me so I can get some experience. But you actually do have experience, and that's academic experience through your program. And employers will consider that, and they do consider it valuable experience to help you get into a role. So highlighting those things on your resume, in interviews, in portfolios are all great ways to help you get hired. Same with classroom experiences. So if your program doesn't have a lot of work integrated learning, they probably have a lot of different projects and assignments in class that still count as experience and ways that you've applied your skills in a simulation setting. So this could mean role playing. It could mean times where you've had to do case studies, various like simulations in class. Maybe your program has labs, debates, project-based group work, or even when there's a guest lecturer that has some sort of application focus. Making sure that you're like participating in these opportunities and also recording them so that you can use them down the road in your different career development is a really great idea.
So for us here, we've given you some ideas of where to get started, some different departments to look at the college. We want you to think about what you're going to do today. So think about your strengths and what areas you would like to improve in, and turn that I can't attitude into I can and I will. So now that we have participated in the Padlet activity and you all participated so well, lots of great answers and responses, we want you to start thinking about how you're going to apply your learning from this workshop to your everyday lives. So what will you do next in terms of your next steps? Maybe you want to make a list of what you'd like to achieve while you're studying here at Algonquin College and make that your bucket list. So that could be attend a workshop, one workshop a month, maybe participate in a workshop from counseling services, or start looking at different videos to upgrade your technical skills. We've covered a couple of the departments here at the college, which we think will help you develop some transferable skills, as well as add to your portfolio. So maybe you'd want to take a look at some of those departments and see what they offer, and then start registering for their opportunities. Okay, this is a great question.
Go ahead, you can say it.
Both Jess and I want to jump on it. So networking question about how do you stay connected and in touch with people that you meet? So depending on the individual that you're speaking of, if it's a classmate, obviously you can just trade like social media handles or maybe emails. You can start a student club as well if you wanted to network within your own program. However, Jessica's department in employment really does a great job. They have information about elevator pitches and how you can kind of summarize your goals, aspirations, as well as sell yourself to a potential employer, and then how to kind of turn it so that there's an action item where you're going to connect and network at some point. Jess, I'm not sure if you want to add to that as well.
Yeah, I think what I would add to, because I love the last part you said about, I'd love to try and be valuable in return. And that's such an important part of networking. So it's like a give and take relationship where you're both trying to help each other out and help each other grow and learn in your career. So in terms of what you can give in return, and Rebecca, you mentioned this social media platforms. I think LinkedIn is such a useful platform for doing this. But even like sharing articles, sharing resources with people in your network, even commenting on things that other people share, just that like continual connection and like giving back to each other is a great way to like maintain those relationships or build those relationships. Um, Even like simple things like a video you've seen or like something that's worked for you in the past. Those are all great ways to like give back to others.
And also, when we're on the topic of social media, this might be something that you'd be interested in pursuing now, but depending on your field of study and the profession that you're going into, you might want to take a look at your social media accounts and start stripping things that are no longer relevant and not a representation of who you are today. So I know sometimes you start a social media account when you're in your teens, maybe. Yourself as a 15-year-old is different from yourself as a 20-year-old, as a 30-year-old, and as a 50-year-old. So just make sure that the content that is made public is something that you would want an employer to see. And the rule of thumb I always go by is, would your grandma be proud of you if you posted that, right? Would grandma be proud? So if she's not proud of that, maybe take it down or hide it from public view. You don't want that, Twitter feed to come back to bite you in the end, right? So that's definitely something you can start doing now. It's very quick and easy, and it's definitely something that will help you in your professional career.
See a couple co-op questions for you, Rebecca.
So scroll back up. You can have a personal consultation, usually by Zoom or phone. So depending who your co-op student advisor is, you can find their information through the co-op website. I believe the majority of co-op programs or students from co-op programs here today are mine. So you can just send me a quick email after this and we can set up something via Zoom or by phone. If you're looking at resume reviews or potentially mock interviews, we do have a staff member dedicated to those specific types of workshops, and they're about half an hour in length, and you can book them through HireAC once you have access to that. A question about the co-op handbook. So I have sent out the co-op student handbook to my prep term students. So if you're just starting in co-op now, that is a great resource to review. It gives you tips and tricks on how to be successful, as well as an overview of what the various co-op terms look like. And yes, I do suggest following the co-op student handbook. I think one suggestion that I would like to make, Jessica covered it already, but you're going to have group work and academic projects within your program. Group work is not my favorite thing to do, I'll be honest. But if you have the opportunity to take the lead and say, I'm going to be the team lead for this project, it gives you a bit of experience in terms of leadership as well as coordinating a team. So I highly encourage you to put your hand up and try something different.
So another co-op question, are there mandatory activities that we need to do every week in Brightspace?
Yes and no. So there are specific dates and deadlines within the preparation term, and they are indicated in the Brightspace shell. However, if you wanted to schedule extra hours throughout your week and kind of power through that, you will be setting yourself up for success. You'll have more time for the job search term and also to prepare your resume and cover letter for potential employers.
And then another question, when would be the best moment to look for a job, considering that I have no Canadian experience in the study area?
So I would say as soon as possible, start looking at various ways to build up your portfolio and experience. If you're looking for a part-time job, Jessica's department in employment would be the ideal location to start first. And then even if it's not within your field of study, it's still great experience. Once you are, I think Tabitha, you're in co-op. So once you're in the co-op stream and job searching through the database, you will have access to employers who are looking for students in your specific program. And so you will gain industry experience in your field of study that way. And we do have students who are hired that have no work experience. So I know that's probably a big concern for a lot of students going into co-op. They don't have industry experience, but the employers do know that you are a student and they're not expecting someone with 5 years of experience in the field. Yes, so there's a question about leadership. So if you have the opportunity to take on a leadership role within your program, whether that is to be a volunteer or to be a class representative or even just be the team lead for a class project, that is something that I would encourage you to do so that it shows initiative to your future employer as well as leadership capacity and the willingness to learn and lead.
Another question, will a part-time job turn to co-op or full-time? So I would say if it's in your field, I mean, I guess I shouldn't speak for co-op. I'll let you do this one, Rebecca.
Okay. It could, depending on if it's related to your field of study. So it doesn't have to be 100%. Let's say you're a busy student. It doesn't have to be a data visualization position specifically, but if there's enough of the job description and the duties related to your program and your field, we would be able to accept that. For a co-op position, it does have to be full-time. It does have to be paid, so we cannot be looking at internships.
And then like just in terms of like turning either part-time jobs or co-op into full-time, I think I would say that like, yes, a lot of people do get hired by their co-op employers or transition into positions after they graduate. At least as far as my experience goes. Would you say the same, Rebecca?
We do have students who are FSWEP students who work for the government part-time. And so they potentially could turn that into a full-time position when it's their work term in co-op. There's also students who work within their field of study part-time, and then same situation. We call it a self-developed job. So instead of going through Hire AC and applying for one of the jobs that are offered through our department, students are able to self-develop their own jobs.
So I know that remote work might not be as advantageous as it is in office work, where you can build up network in order to be bridged into a full-time, especially for government jobs. Could you provide some advice? So I can speak like outside of co-op. Go ahead.
Go ahead, Jess, go ahead.
Okay. But like as somebody who works remotely, I think that you have to be a little more intentional in like your relationships with your team. So making sure that you're like booking in meetings with them. So like using Zoom or even MS Teams, just to stay connected, asking questions, seeing how you can help them, just like touching base daily. Because a lot of times if you're in an office setting, like it just comes naturally because you're right beside them. You can just pop over to their office and ask questions, or like you would just see them and have conversations. But from the remote working place, you would have to just be a little more intentional about having those conversations to keep up those relationships.
Mm-hmm. And I was going to just add to that as well. Not necessarily for employers, but with your professors and coordinators and student success specialists. These are all great relationships that you should be fostering on a regular basis, because they could turn into potential references for you for when you're going into co-op or for when you're applying to jobs. If you attend class but never turn your camera on, you never talk to the professor, you never ask a single question, they will not be able to be a reference for you because they don't know who you are. So just think about how, again, Jessica had mentioned, intention is really important. Make sure that your actions are full of intention and purpose, and that you are fostering that relationship, which is a lot harder to do virtually. You don't get to see them in class. You don't get to stay 5 minutes later and just talk about a sports team or, politics in the US. But this is something that you want to foster and promote in your everyday learning. So building up that relationship and rapport with your professors, your student success specialists, they know you really well if you do go and talk to them about your program progression And if you're having any kind of struggles, they will build a great relationship with you. Do we have co-op jobs within Algonquin? Yes and no. So not every department within the college will offer co-op opportunities. We do offer a few, we call them career leaders in co-op. So you work within the co-op department. There's also e-co-op, which is entrepreneurship co-op, and you would work with applied research and various community members. They would be your mentors. So within your field of study, we have students who are building electric cars. We have students who are working with 3D printing, who are doing all sorts of amazing projects with applied research. If that is something that you're interested in, or if you have a vested interest in starting up your own company, e-co-op is something that I encourage you to look at.
These are great questions.
Mm-hmm. Also, a great resource for job information is your program coordinator. So they have industry experience, they have connections to various members of the community. They'll oftentimes have guest speakers that come into class, and they may work for a government institution or maybe a private company. So they do have connections that may help students land a job. And again, fostering that relationship with your professor and program coordinator is really important. I'm also going to put into the chat just information about upcoming events. So again, this is put on by College Events in collaboration with the AC Hub. So if you're interested in finding out more in terms of what's available during the orientation week, this would be a great link to access. And Jessica and I are always available. Our teammates are available as well. And we'll put up our contact information in the slides as well. So if you're working on something later on today and you have a question for either co-op or employment, feel free to email us or give the general numbers a call.
Another co-op
Andre,
question.
So Andre has a question about co-op job postings. Depending on the position, the employer does have the opportunity to post at multiple institutions. Sometimes you will be competing just within your specific program. Sometimes you'll be competing against multiple programs at Algonquin. And then the broader spectrum, you'll be competing against university students as well from different institutions.
Just going to plug in our contact information into the chat.
There are never too many questions. We're happy to help and assist. For anyone who wants to stick around, ask questions, you're more than welcome to stay. Jessica and I will stay until 11 o'clock. I'm just conscious of time. If you'd like to get an extra 5 minutes of your day back, you're more than welcome to exit the meeting. And I wish you all the best in your start of term.